Good morning, Algebra Prep. Welcome to, distance learning, remote learning today. Today we're looking at the multiplication property of equality, and there's really two different ways to think about this. Again, just a reminder that when there's a number next to a variable, that means multiplication. So the first way that I'm going to undo multiplication is I'm just going to think of it as undoing multiplication by division. Division undoes multiplication, is the opposite of multiplication. So we'll just divide both sides of this equation by 3, and multiplying by 3 and dividing by 3, or thinking of this as like 3 divided by 3, which is just 1x. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So again, whatever we do to the right side, we also have to do to the left side. The other way of thinking about division is multiplying by the reciprocal. So I think it's important to mention that we could approach the same problem as, instead of dividing by 3, we could multiply by the reciprocal, or multiply by 1/3. And 3 times a third is just 3 over 3x. 15 times a third, or a third of 15, is 5. And 3 divided by 3, of course, is 1. We get 1x is equal to 5. So two different ways of looking at division there, multiplying by the reciprocal. So you could choose how you'd like to show your work on these. 5x, again, we're just going to undo that multiplication with division. And we'll get x is equal to -6. Again, a good reminder, a negative divided by a positive is a negative. I'll circle my answer. Number 3 looks a little different because it is. It is a little different. This says x. Now, don't think of this as a fraction, but I think of this as just division. This says x divided by -3. Well, the opposite of division, you guessed it, is multiplication. So we'll undo that division by multiplying. Okay, and again, dividing by -3, multiplying by -3. I just like to draw a line through those to show that they cancel out their inverse operations. A negative times a negative is a positive, positive 12. Okay. And the last problem for the day, we are undoing multiplication here. To get x by itself, this says 2/3 times x is equal to 10. So we're undoing multiplication. We're dividing by a fraction. Well, divide by 2/3. Well, dividing by a fraction. Division is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. Maybe I'll just copy this problem down one additional time here. Division is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. If I multiply the left side by 3/2, I must also multiply the right side by 3/2. And 3 times 2, maybe we'll just multiply these straight across. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. X is equal to, I know that some of you like to think of 10 still as just 10 over 1 and multiply straight across. And we'll get 10 times 3 is 30. 1 times 2 is 2. And 6 divided by 6, that's just 1. 1 times x, that's just x, is equal to 30 divided by 2 is 15, and I circle my answer. So I'm looking today for your work shown like this. I'm looking for a problem copied down. We're going to undo multiplication with division, or by multiplying by the reciprocal. We'll get x by itself. Again, our goal stays the same of isolating the variable. Have a nice day, folks. See you next time.